What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lore, Dark Professor, Dark Joker with this week's view. And this week, I'm going to go over a Kingdom Hearts theory I have about the Princesses of Heart. Basically, they're like the seven pure lights. So we know there's seven, seven lights, 13 darknesses. We don't know exactly within the story why there's that number. But yeah, so I'm going to go into all of that. How I think they got to be where they are, how we got ended up with New Seven, who the rest of the New Seven are, and what worlds of the darkness that was could have been inside of any of them. So I'll go over all that. So with all that being said, on with the video. So here's what we currently know about the Princesses of Heart. So they represent the seven pieces of light from the Keyblade. There's no darkness in their hearts, and the known members throughout the history, like throughout the timeline, include Kyrie, um, who we've seen hold the title from Birth by Sleep all the way through three, and and I'm sure even beyond that, from like Melody Memory 4 and all that, once 4 actually releases. Alice in the first Kingdom Hearts game, Snow White in Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts, Aurora and Birth by Sleep through Kingdom Hearts, Cinderella from Birth by Sleep through Kingdom Hearts, Belle in the original Kingdom Hearts, Jasmine the original Kingdom Hearts, Rapunzel in Kingdom Hearts 3, Elsa in Kingdom Hearts 3, and on in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, why I'm not saying Kingdom Hearts 2 is because yes, in the DTD, which stand for Door to Darkness, that was like a special database within Answer the Wise's computer. The lineup from Kingdom Hearts 1 was used as the password for the DTD. Of course, until Tron changed the password to Sora, Donald, Goofy. But given what all has happened, we know Kairi was still one. We don't know if the other six were still Princesses of Heart at that point in time. And I'll get into that. So during one, so Ansem used the hearts of Alice, Aurora, Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, and Jasmine to create the Keyblade People's Hearts, which he used to unlock the darkness in Maleficent's heart, send her to the past and all that, which we've seen in Key. And and then of course we know she returned. And yeah, and then all seven of them, their hearts were used to unlock the final keyhole, Raya Garden, and along with the Door to Darkness. Here are my theories regarding the Princesses of Heart. So for the origins of the Princess of Heart, I think so when the Keyblade was split into, light and darkness, the light found a worthy vessel and that vessel became the first guardian of light. And I think the guardian of light had seven daughters and passed on the pure light to those daughters, making them the first princesses of heart. And then over time, the Prince of Heart reincarnated after they died. That leads to the lineup we see in Kingdom Hearts. So I go over this in my theory regarding the Keyblade, and so you can see that video to why death regarding what I think about the Keyblade. But as far as the Prince of Heart are concerned, this is how I think the Keyblade like affected the origins of the Princesses of Heart. For the actions that the Prince of Heart took after the first Keyblade War, I think once the old universe was destroyed, I think the Prince of Heart created the second universe, which is the one we see throughout all the console games. Um, and then the four darknesses that were trapped inside that Daybreak Town, they escaped after it was just that old universe was destroyed, and they created the Door of Darkness, which I've gone over in a previous video. And I think the Prince of Heart created the Dark Depths to trap the four darknesses, and and they created the Kingdom Key and the Kingdom Key D, so that the door of darkness can be locked and basically disappear, and so the destroyed worlds can be restored. And I think so. The door of darkness, I think, is at the end of the road to darkness and land departure. And I've gone over that in the previous video. And I think the Prince of Heart created the door to light at the end of the road to light in land departure. And as far as some of the specifics with door to light, I'll get into that in a later video. And I think at least one princess, maybe multiple, created the Cornerstone of Light at Disneytown and the Trident in Atlantica. Because so the Trident can reveal the keyhole, and the Cornerstone of Light protects that world from darkness. Now, how could those two things exist? I think a Princess of Heart had to be involved. So, as far as what happened, who knows? Maybe it's something Missing Link would have shown, or like an ephemer game would show. Who knows? But so, because the course of light, the reason there's really Heartless have not been in Disney Town is because of the course of light. Now, you had the issue of the Unversed being Disney Town. Now, given what we know about Vanitas being one of the 13 willful darknesses, that could explain how they were to infiltrate the core Stone of Light, like go bypass it. Because I mean, he was a willful darkness. I mean, that's a whole special kind of darkness there. As SpongeBob SquarePants would say, it is advanced darkness. And so, in the Trident, I think a princess created, entrusted it to the royal family of Atlantica, to protect the keyhole. And of course, the light, basically was made to protect that world, for whatever reason, what happened, so, as far as what exact circumstances led to those two things being created, I don't know. But I think a Princess of Heart was involved in the creation of those two things. For the new Seven Hearts, so I think for Alice, Aurora, Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, and Jasmine, I think after Ansem used their hearts to create you know, the Keyblade people's hearts and used them to open the door to darkness. I think after the event, so basically due to all that, basically they could sense it, like Ansem opening the door to darkness or something, and basically I think they unconsciously, not wanting their powers to be used for evil again, they unconsciously passed the light to new vessels. And they didn't choose it. Like those six, Kyrie did not, but those six chose to do that. And so, since they never made a choice of which vessel to pass it on to, I think Kingdom Hearts itself chose six new vessels. And so we know that, Rapunzel, Elsa, and Anna are three of them. I think the other three are Moana, Tiana, and Merida. Now, another question that occurs is what happened to the darkness that was in the princess's hearts? So here's what I think happened. So for the original Guardian of Light, I think the darkness that was in his or her heart became the original Lich Heartless. And now, when the Guardian of Light passed on the pure light to the original Princess of Heart, the original Lich, so that darkness returned to the Guardian of Light, while the Princess's darknesses merged to become a new Lich. And when Alice, Aurora, Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, and Jasmine passed their pure lights to Elsa, Anna, Rapunzel, Tiana, Merida, and Moana, their darknesses returned to their hearts, and the darknesses from the new pure lights replaced them. And so the Lich, basically So you still had Kyrie's darkness inside of it, throughout basically the second and third like versions. And so yeah, and as far as the Lich goes, I think the Lich is actually more powerful than we've seen. Like I think what we fought in 3 was actually an avatar sent by it. Like the way young Xehanort seemed to word it, like it seemed like when Sora had defeated Lich, we saw it like defeat like it was defeated like it was destroyed. The way young Xehanort seemed to word it, he says if you keep chasing the Lich, it's like, wait, it's not destroyed? So it seems like the Lich is still out there. So I think what Sora actually defeated was an avatar of the Lich, not the Lich itself. I think the Lich itself is like very powerful. Like it could be pretty freaking powerful. Like I mean, it goes out capturing hearts, trapping them in the realm of darkness, which I guess is how Riku Replica's heart ended up in the you know realm of darkness. And like so basically kind of like so in DC Comics you have Darkseid who like has avatars that which is what a lot of like the heroes fight. Like basically like he project like Darkseid projects avatars, and that's kind of like what the hero like a lot of the DC heroes see. Whereas a lot of times they don't really see the actual Darkseid's true form because he's like this cosmic deity like being. No, I'm not saying the Lich is um that level, that kind of power level, but basically like the actual Lich itself is significantly, I think, more powerful. Like Sora fought an Avatar. He did not. I would not think he fought the actual Lich. The real one's still out there in the realm of darkness. I think. Like basically, probably will not. I would say will not disappear until like whenever I guess look, the actual pure lights and pure darknesses, I think they're going to get fully reunited. Whenever that happens, I do think the Lich will disappear because the darkness will go back to like, the original bodies. But until then, the Lich is going to still be a thing. Yeah. And that's it. Did y'all like this video? Did you dislike this video? Do you agree with my theory? Do you disagree with my theory? You have your own ideas of how what the origins of Princes of Heart were, or what their roles in some of the things were regarding, like where their darknesses went, how the new Seven Hearts came to be, um, you know, how what their role, how they affected the file keyhole, then the doors of light to darkness. So you can put all that in the comments, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Look forward to the next video.